Good morning, friends of JM Pro TV. Hello to all our followers in Western North Carolina, especially in Nashville. We are at the third day of the morning of 4-hour movement. And today, this is a part that I very like because I'm going to introduce first ER. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm pretty good, and I was saying that this is one of my favorite parts in every conference, speakers, or event, is because we can have the access of what's the new books, the new literature that is around every topic that we're going to. And we would like to ask you, Yar, so tell us, what's new in the literature this year?
Yeah, so we've been having a great time. We've been talking to people about books all weekend, and I brought a couple things to show everybody. One of our best sellers this weekend, you would think, we're here talking about money for our movements, and so I think some people might think like, oh, they're just going to be reading economics books or something. That's not what people want to read. I know, no accounting, none of that. This book by Adrienne Maree Brown is called Emergent Strategy, and it's about how we think about the world in this moment of ecological change, of transition in the world's economies. And really her idea is that when you think about who are the animals that are becoming extinct, they're the big predators like lions and bears and whales and all of those things. And who are the animals that are surviving? They're cockroaches and rats and the little ants, all of the little cooperative beings. And her idea is we glorify the big guys. Those are the ones that we look up to in the animal world. But really, we need to be more like the ants and the roaches and the rats, because they work together. They create these ecosystems of cooperation. And if we can think about our organizations and our communities like that, we will survive, even in times of great ecological change and, political disaster.
That sounds a very interesting logic, like to put things in perspective.
Yeah, so this has been a great, this has been a book that a lot of people are very excited about, so I wanted to share that one.
Yes, and let me, because we're live.
Oh, yeah.
And let me put it close to the camera for you to see. So that is the book, so you can, and we'll continue with the next one, please.
Yeah. So the next one I want to tell you about is Minority Leader by Stacey Abrams. We're here in Georgia. And I know a lot of people are from North Carolina that you're talking to. If you don't know North Carolina, we need your help as our border state because Stacey Abrams is running for governor to be the next governor of the state of Georgia. She's a Democratic candidate, and she is the real deal. She's a really, really, really great candidate. And she's running against a man named Brian Kemp, who is terrible in every way you can be terrible. He is anti-immigrant, he is anti-woman, he is anti-LGBTQ, he is pro-gun, he is pro-prison, he is pro just everything that I think most of the people, he's just really, really, he's endorsed by Trump. And so we have a real fight on our hands for the soul of Georgia. And Stacey Abrams has written this book, Minority Leader, How to Lead from the Outside and Make Real Change. And most politicians' books are really boring and really bad, and usually they're ghostwritten. But this one isn't. She wrote it herself. And
that's true.
And it's actually really good. And it's a fast read, and it's all about sort of why she is not playing to the center and doing politics as usual, and why she really is embracing the leadership of young people, of people of color, and is really focusing on the things that make Georgia a strong state, and those are not Republican values. So we're really excited about this book, and we're really excited about Stacey Abrams as a candidate. So if you don't,
also as a writer, right?
As a writer. So a lot of people have been buying this book today to learn more about her. So I will encourage, even if you don't live in Georgia, to read this book.
And also, that point is very interesting because, like we have like stories like hers, and also the one that is running for in
New York.
New York.
Yes.
Yeah. So, in that we need that inspiration because we need to move our young people. We need to move everybody that is working for the rise of a progressive movement to just take office.
Yeah, I mean, we have a shot. Like, I think for so long we felt, well, in the South, as a Southerner, I felt like we've been neglected by the national sort of stage, both in the media and the, like, national politics has completely ignored the South, has said the South can't win anything. Why should we even put money into the South? Mm-hmm. And we're showing we can really put up a fight. We have a chance to really do great things. And the South, I think because we have struggled for so long, we have a lot of really innovative strategies for how to fight this stuff. And so I think we can lead the country in showing here's how you combat these regressive ideas. You know, this you have to empower leadership from, you know, from the margins, and when you do that and everybody gets behind that, you can win.
And that's a very interesting book to read, so I'm going to put it here. Stacey Abrams. So let's continue with the next one.
This is an old classic book, but I shared it because it is it's representative of some of the other books that we're talking about, and I just want to remind folks sometimes it's good to read the classics. So we have also been selling Kim Klein's book a lot, which is about fundraising for social movements and grassroots fundraising. This is a book, Building Communities from the Inside Out, A Path Towards Finding and Mobilizing a Community's Assets. It's about looking at what your community has already. So often I think in fundraising, especially if we are, you know, don't have enough money, don't have enough time, we think of ourselves as like, you know, well, we can't do this. We don't have enough of what we need. And this is a asset-based strategy. And what that means is like, what do we have? So, okay, maybe we don't have enough money, but we have a lot of volunteers. We have a lot of goodwill. We have a lot of people in our community who are connected to, you know, maybe the YMCA or a faith community or schools. And this is a way to help your organization or your group figure out where your strengths are. And I think it's a really useful tool. So this is one we recommend, and that is selling well.
And before you continue, so I just want to let our friends know that we are live. So and we're gonna say the time is 10 a.m. o'clock. So and we are waiting for your question. If you got any question, if you got any book, any author. So we just learned yesterday talking with ER that the Edgar Villanueva. So. He had a very interesting book coming out, but it's not released
yet. It comes out on October 18th. You can pre-order it now from your local independent bookstore or from KarisBooksandMore.com.
We're going to talk more about
which is my bookstore. But October 18th is when it comes out. But go ahead and pre-order it, and we really appreciate it.
All right, so let's continue and with the next one.
Yeah, so the next, I'm going to do two at once because I wanted to just show most of what we are selling here are children's books. And a lot of what we're selling are bilingual children's books in Spanish and English. And a lot of why that is important is that even though there are more and more books every day that are picture books that reflect our communities, they aren't always very easy to find. So a lot of what my bookstore does and a lot of in-person brick-and-mortar bookstores that you can go into, what they should do in your community is offer you books that reflect your community. So if they're not doing that, go in and ask them to carry those books. So if your bookstore doesn't carry books in Spanish, go ask them to carry those books. It's really important because often booksellers want to serve their communities, but they don't even know that there's a need. So it's really important to us that children see their families reflected in books. So if it's a family with two moms, or it's a family where one parent is incarcerated, or it's a family where the child is growing up in foster care, we want kids to be able to see their family in a book, because we know that if you go through your young life and you don't see yourself in books, it allows for more and more parts of yourself to be devalued or taken away. And so it's really important that young folks from birth see themselves in books. And so we really focus at my bookstore, Karis Books and More, on racially diverse children's books, but also books that center little girls as heroes. So this book, Elena's Serenade, is about a little girl whose father is a glassblower. It's set in Mexico. She wants to become a glassblower, and her father at first says, no, only men can be glassblowers. and it's got beautiful illustrations. And she's very close to her father, and she loves her father and looks up to her father and wants to be like him, but she runs away because she thinks that the only way she can be a glassblower is to run away from her family. It has a happy ending though, which is that she runs away, she sleeps, she meets all of these different animals that teach her beautiful songs, and then because she has listened to the animals, she learns more about how to be a great glassblower than anyone else in the world. She returns home, and she and her father make the most beautiful glass in the world. So it's a sweet story, but also a story reminding us that children both need to be in connection to their families, but also sometimes need to challenge what their parents think. And it's a great little feminist sort of fairy tale and folk tale.
What a beautiful illustration and art.
Yeah, I love the art in this book, and I just think it's such a sweet story. So this one is in English, set in Mexico, and this one is also beautiful. The Upside Down Boy, El Niño de Cabeza, and it is in Spanish and in English. It's got really cool illustrations too. So again, I just pulled these as examples. I could have chosen a lot of different ones, but the idea is our kids really need to see lots of different kinds of representations of themselves. So if your library isn't carrying them, your local bookstore isn't carrying them, go in person and ask. And this is one of the reasons why it's important that our communities have real bookstores and that you support real bookstores, because the internet is not the only source for books. I think sometimes people forget and they think Amazon can get anything, but often you don't know what to look for. You don't even know what's out there. It's just one big search engine. And it's really, really, really important that you go into your community and insist that your community stores represent you.
And one of the things is like we were been talking with the artists since yesterday. So, in how pleasure is for a reader to talk with the person in charge of the book, so because he can explain us, he can make a recommendation. So it is very important to support all these libraries, all the bookstores. In Spanish, bookstore is library. You say
Yes.
library. That's why I always confuse that.
But
All
also libraries,
That's
it's
what
true.
library, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
we don't care where you get your books as long as you don't get them from the internet all the time.
But going back about the support, let's support, and also, so if you are in Western North Carolina, you would like to support this bookstore, so you can order. I'm gonna let him to say the website.
Yeah, so it's Charis Books and More, CharisBooksandmore.com. And we can send books anywhere in the world. Very happy to help you. There are also a lot of great bookstores in Western North Carolina. So just, put in Google bookstore Western North Carolina. There's also a website called indiebound.org. You go to that and it will help you find your local bookstore. So if you go there, that's where all the local it's a map of all the local bookstores. So that will help you find the one in your community. And again, you can make sure that they're carrying stuff that represents you. So if they're not, go ask them, because hopefully they will.
And one more question. So if they call to this number 404-524-0304, they can talk to you directly?
They can talk to me, yes. Or they can talk to our bookstore owner. Her name is Sarah. You can talk to Sarah, and she can help you order anything you want. And we'll do our best. We have a lot of book lists on our website. So there's a book list about battling white supremacy, for books about battling white supremacy for children.
The two books that
Yeah.
you were mentioning.
Yeah, there's a book list about bilingual books for children. There's books about different kinds of families, books for children with disabilities, books for children with learning differences, all different kinds of ways of thinking about what kinds of books kids need. So that all of that is to say, we are obviously not just a children's bookstore. We have lots of books for adults. We do just also carry fiction, and we think reading for pleasure is really important, especially if you're a movement worker or someone who is fighting really hard in this political moment. We think reading for pleasure is a must and is how you sustain your soul.
Your brain.
Yeah, you have to have a break. And so if you are, returning to, your old favorite book, or you're looking for something good. The other thing I want to just mention is we have an audiobook service. So if you're not somebody who does very well with reading on the page, or if you have a learning difference, or you just struggle to read, we have audiobooks. We have a service called Libro FM. It is completely competitive with Audible, so if you are on Audible and you want to switch to an independent service, it's great, Libro FM, and you can just get any audiobook you want, and they have them in Spanish too, and it's amazing service. So I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and I'll be...
Especially the driving time,
Yeah.
sometimes it's hours during the week. So
Yeah, and when I'm...
finish a couple of books.
Yeah, I'm mowing my grass or walking my dog or doing my dishes, I listen to audiobooks. And that's just another way to sort of protect your brain. So if you're like really inundated with the news so much that it's messing your brain up a little bit, maybe listen to a story, because adults need stories too.
Go back to classics.
Go back to classics. Whatever makes you happy. I think the last thing I'll say is, everywhere I go, if I take a cab or I'm on the train or whatever, and people ask what I do, and I say I'm a bookseller, people say, "Oh, I don't read as much as I should," or "I don't read like the kinds of books I should." And I feel like a priest. I'm like, you don't need to. There's no such thing as should. If you're reading. If you like to read horror books, if you like to read romances, if you like to read mysteries, that is so important and so good. Read what you love. Mm-hmm. There's tons and tons and tons of scientific evidence that just reading opens your mind, opens your heart. It does not matter what you're reading. So if your kids are like devouring Stephen King, that's great. Let them read what they like to read. It's not going to hurt them. It's only going to make them like smarter, more empathetic. I know it seems scary sometimes when kids read things that we don't like, but honestly, letting people read what they like to read is so much better than creating a situation where people feel ashamed of what they want to read, and they choose not to read at all.
All right. So let's support this amazing project. Business organization. How you define?
So we are a hybrid. So we are both a for-profit and a non-profit. We do 270 events a year. So wow. those are funded by our. Yeah, we stay busy. Those are funded by our non-profit, and then the bookstore is for-profit. So you can also, if you are interested in our non-profit, go to chariscircle.org. That's all of our non-profit.
All right. So then, if you want to talk with ER, so this is the number again: 404-524-0304. Because. You got a lot to say.
Yeah, I'll talk to you.
Thank you very much. And also, I want to take this time to say, to send our hug and best wishes to our friends of Firestorm Cafe. It's a Books and Cafe.
Yes, we love them.
You love them? Okay.
Yes.
By the way, they are so nice that they let us record and broadcast from inside their building. So we just... So Jasmine, yes. Liberty,
hi, guys.
Yes, Mary, Natasha,
So,
you know them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
we go to their store every time we're in Asheville. They come every time they're in Atlanta. So old friends.
So yeah, and if you want to go local there, so there's a place where you can go, Firestorm Cafe. These people are awesome.
Yes,
awesome.
And they'll order anything you want. They have a great selection. They have great kids books, but they also just go in and ask for what you need, and they'll help you.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so, and we will continue broadcasting. So this is the closing event coming pretty soon, like in 30 minutes or more. So we'll be there. And if you got more questions, please share us this video and send us more questions. All right, we're leaving. Bye.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for letting me do that after I had a little more coffee today. Yesterday I was like, I'm going to be so boring because I'm so tired. So thanks for letting me do it today.
That's okay. And we'd love to know more about your organization, because it looks like you're like 270, right?
Yeah, we are. So that's mostly what I do is the nonprofit side, and then my partner does the bookstore side.
Yeah.
So this is our flyer for the nonprofit.